Hello and welcome back to Eurovision 365. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by another of this year's Eurosong finalists. That's right, I'm here with ADGY. Hello.
Hello, thank you very much.
How are you? Thanks for joining me. How's it going today?
It's all good, all good. Yeah, I'm almost a week into the official announcement, so things are starting to yeah balance out a little bit. The chaos isn't as much as it was earlier in the week, but yeah.
Congratulations on being one of the finalists at Eurosong 2023. Can you tell me and take me to the point that you found out, the moment that you knew you were in that final?
It was a Monday, couple of weeks before the announcement. It was 2 or 3 weeks before. I actually missed a call from Michael Keeley. I think I missed the call, and I was like, I think I called him back. And didn't know who it was, and then yeah, he as soon as he said this is Michael Keeley call, and I was like, oh, that was a call I could firmly say I was waiting for a long time, and I don't mean a few months, I mean more like a few years.
Oh right,
So,
okay.
yeah, and yeah, 100%. So then he said that I was in the Eurosong, and yeah, I was delighted and really pleased.
So have you entered Eurosong before then, Ajay?
But I didn't enter Eurosong last year
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't think I had a track that was, that I would have wanted to represent. I think in other years there was like a national, selection open to the public, but there was no pre-competition. So I've always submitted sent in, something that if I felt like it was good enough and it was like Eurovision worthy, and yeah, so I've done it before. Once I was shortlisted, I think it was same year that Leslie Roy got it. So got close, but didn't quite make it. But this year with this track, I was like a no-brainer. I was like 100% putting it forward.
The song was written during lockdown originally as a piano ballad, and you've obviously collaborated with Boxy with an awesome song before. So what prompted the transition from piano ballad to what I would describe as a bit of a dance anthem?
It's more just the way I write. So like the dance side of things, the pop side is me as an artist. That's like how I want the songs to come out and sound.
Yeah.
When I'm writing, it's more like it for me to write lyrics. I prefer just to write with the piano. So even when I'm writing with the piano, I can hear all the electronics and the drums and the synths in my brain and how they could sound. But I like to write like structure of the song with the piano first, so it'll be slow, very different, and then once it comes down to actually like collaborating with the producer, like Boxy,
Yeah.
you kind of decide on like tempo and the right key, and then you work together over and back, and that's kind of how that came about. And I love writing like that as well. It's kind of the process that I take when I'm doing it.
The lyrics to Too Good For Your Love, and then you said it was written during lockdown. So what inspired the lyrics, if I'm allowed to ask you that?
I don't want to say too much about it because I don't want, like when there's a time and place in your life where like that was happening and you were living it out, and then you wrote a song about it, and then it's like time by now, you kind of don't want to like add more like throw more dust towards that or whatever. But yeah, I think the lyrics are pretty self-explanatory. It's a song that's very intentional about sort of an experience, I suppose, in my life. But the way I kind of see it now is that the song is also like, it's kind of about saying, you know what, I've evolved, I've moved on.
Yeah.
No good for me anymore. It's like good for me. This is maybe toxic, or this is like,
yeah,
I've grown up a little bit and I'm ready to move. And I think like I can still listen to the song now, and I don't think of that experience. I don't look back and remember that moment. I think I put it now into like different contexts. It's like, personal growth, and now it means this to me. And it's still about like sort of self-empowerment, or like self-development and things like that.
Yeah. The song was written then for the intention of being pushed forward for the national final, or is it?
Nope.
It wasn't. Okay.
No, it wasn't until the song's completely finished. Like I've never written a song for Eurovision.
Yeah.
Like I always write music as a songwriter. I wrote lots of artists as well, and then I write music for myself. My brain doesn't compute sort of an idea of like writing a song intentionally for something like this, because I don't think as an artist you can create something with a goal, with an outcome. I think as an artist you've got to stay true to yourself. So that song was just a song that I wrote, and then when Boxy came on board, he very much brought all of the bells and the whistles with the production. And if January wasn't, the song was finished, someone else, I played it for, I think it was my sister, I played it for, and she was like, that is so Eurovision. And then the second she said it, I listened back and I was like, it actually really is. Like, it's a very Eurovision track.
Yeah.
And that's why we submitted this particular song, but it wasn't written, you know, specifically with the means to put it in.
The song itself is polling really well amongst like most fans, you know. It's polling really well. Yeah, there's a smile on your face as I as I say that big bright smile as I say that. I'm just wondering, what does that feel like for you? Does that create like a pressure, or does that create like so much energy and optimism for you? Optimism.
I think the latter. I think more like energy and optimism, because genuinely, like, I wasn't really, like, I really didn't think past the announcement day. I was just excited for that announcement day. So I was like, yeah, I'm in the Eurosong, and I could like tell people. I didn't really, you know, just start thinking about sort of the response. And then when I sort of read the comments and the messages and just heard the general feedback, I was just really, really happy with that. I mean, you couldn't really ask for anything more. Do you know what I mean? But that's still the same attitude that I'm maintaining for me on this long journey from the announcement is in the actual Eurosong final. It's fun and like it's a new experience, so I'm just making the most and enjoying it. Do you know what I mean? If I'm not having a laugh, not enjoying it, and like, you know, making the most, and it, for me, there's no point doing it. I mean, that's not to say I'm not going to bring my absolute A game on the night. It's not to say I'm not going to
ADGY game.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm just enjoying it and not getting too carried away with it.
Are you able to tell me anything about how you yourself would like it to be staged, either at Eurosong or at the Eurovision itself in Liverpool?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to imagine how it'd be staged at Liverpool. That's like a different level of like,
of course, you know,
brain power right there. How you actually do that performance, but for the Eurosong, that was the main thing I think I recognized once I found out about the news. I was like, right, I really have to sort of deliver that performance. I'm intentionally not giving too much away about the actual performance on the night, but like I said, it's definitely going to be upbeat, high energy. You know, I'm going to try to bring as much energy to sort of match the track as possible, and that's sort of the aesthetic we're going for is very much like fun and high energy.
Yeah. You're from Donegal, of course, which is only across the way from Tyrone, not too far away from me. So have to support the fellow Ulster man. It's been 20 years since fellow Donegal man Mickey Joe Hart represented Ireland in Riga and placed 11th. I mean, Leila Jane is also from Donegal, so I wonder how important it is for you, or how important is it for Donegal, I suppose I should ask, to be represented. You know, how important is it for musicians and artists to have that recognition on such a platform that is the Eurosong?
I mean, I think it's really important because, like, for me, when you're in the Eurovision, like, absolutely, it's a great platform for you as an artist in person to get exposure. But at the end of the day, you're representing your country. Your name is next to your country's flag, and you're very much representing like what Ireland has decided is our musical talent for this contest. And then I think within Ireland, you're definitely representing your county too. And, you know, I'm sure you are with Tyrone, and I'm very proud to come from Donegal. Yeah. I think that's since the announcement as well, I've had so much support and so much, you know, this is where the sport is driving from so far, and everyone's been so excited and happy for me. So I think that's the logic behind it. Like, you definitely are representing, you know what I mean? So I don't know how much of a big deal it is to everyone else. Obviously, to me, it's a really big deal. But I like to think that, like, if I did make it through that, you know, do my country pride, and I would take that with me. But just do them pride in the Eurosong at least would be good enough.
Of course you would. I mean, that's what I noticed very much with Brooke last year. You know, obviously she's from Blahy and Derry and the whole of the north. It felt like, you know, Tyrone, Derry, Antrim, even you know, Donegal as well. Like the whole north, Ulster, seemed to come out in force to support her, which was absolutely fantastic. And I think it may be a northern, maybe an Ulster thing that we do seem to support our locals.
No, definitely. That's true. Like even Brooke being from Derry, that's so close to Donegal. We're like immediately on the bandwagon. We're like, do you know what I mean? Just that sort of association by proximity. But I think as well, like, you know, Donegal and every county, I suppose they've got, like, especially like where I come from, like even just Guido itself. there's many talented musicians that have come up through the ages, and those musicians have always had that association by name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, it was from Sweetwater.
Yeah.
You would know Clannad, and you know,
Yeah.
even like Daniel. They've got that association. So you are representing your county. So I think that's where the sort of pride comes from. You know, and people like to see people come and do different things, and that's huge boots to fill as well. I'm not even trying to say like I'm that on that level by any means, but if you got onto the platform of Eurovision, you'd like to think that, like, you know, you're sort of creating a new version of something similar to that on a different platform and representing it.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. How would it feel for you, do you think, to represent Ireland in Liverpool? Because Liverpool is like, I've likened it to like an Irish city, but just not in Ireland. You know what I mean? It feels like the most Irish city outside of Ireland. So, I mean, I would imagine that the Irish performer would get a huge reaction, you know, and support from like that audience. I mean, how do you think it would feel if you were on that flag parade at the start and you said your name with the country's flag beside you, like, and here we are, it's ADGY for Ireland. How would you feel on that stage?
Yeah, I mean that's that would just be like incredible. Do you know what I mean? Imagine that feeling. I think everybody could try to imagine what that would be like, but I think nobody would know what it's like until you're actually doing something like that. But like, obviously for me, like, it would be a total dream come true to like be on that stage, be on that platform. I love Eurovision. I'm definitely a fan, so like I've always imagined myself.
Are you a fan? Yeah, a big fan.
Yeah, 100%. I'm definitely a fan. So yeah, I've always just thought how cool that feeling would be to actually be on that stage. So
what got you into so you're a fan? So when have you been watching from roughly, and when did you get into it?
Do you know what? I don't know. Like, maybe it was around the time Mickey Joe Hart and all that energy. And, because that's when I was first starting to realize this is a thing. But I think just as a musician in general, you're gonna. I mean, for me, it sounds crazy, but like I'm not the biggest sports fan. For me, the Eurovision is like my version of the World Cup. Do you know what I mean? I know but it is because I'm invested in it. Like, I'm definitely invested in the artist leading up, the whole sort of like the build up, and then on the night, you know, it's just got that energy as well. So it's fun. So I just always enjoyed it, and my friends do too. So like now we would usually just have like Eurovision parties and like, you know, all sit and like pick our favorites and put in our bets and who's gonna win and who's gonna do this.
Have you ever picked a winner in those bets? Have you?
No,
but like me,
how did it not come there? Like, it's just so unpredictable, which I think that makes it even funner, is like how unpredictable the whole thing is. Sometimes you can be like, they're going to do well, and they do, but it's hard to sort of always to know for sure, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's good to hear like a performer like Sam Ryder, like for the UK last year, was a huge Eurovision fan, like, and then he clearly loved it. I think it means something even more special as a fan to then perform at the contest, you know. What are you most excited about?
Do you know what? I think the whole there's so much you could process about the whole experience. And I think for me, it's just about enjoying like all the little things that come up and that happen, and just making the most of all of it as it's there. So I'm not particularly like excited about one thing more than the other. I think I'm really looking forward to the performance on the 3rd of February. Like, the nerves haven't kicked in yet, which is good. I'm just sort of like planning and going ahead, full steam ahead with getting things sort of ready for that night. And that will be like the biggest exciting point, obviously, because that's like when it all comes down to. So probably that, but I think just enjoying sort of the whole experience and kind of making the most of it, and not getting too
wrapped
like
up in it,
in my head or anything. Just enjoying it.
Yeah. So that sounds like a really healthy balance of enjoying the moment, but not getting too ahead of yourself, type thing. Yeah. Is there anything that you would like to say to fans out there, particularly Irish people who are watching this, who are eligible to vote for you, ADGY?
Apart from just vote for me. No, I think do you know what? I think if you're, as a Eurovision fan, I think we like when it comes down to the Eurosong stuff, we're all like, we all want the best person to go to wherever the Eurovision's been held that year. That's something that, like, as a nation, we're like, we want to put our best foot forward, right? And then we're rooting for them. So I think stick to your guns there. Like, I want to see the best person go through too. And the talent is really, really high this year, and that's the reality, is that there's like some really established people. There's a lot of variation in the actual semi-finals. But I think because of it being on the Late Show as well, I think it's important that younger people probably put their opinion in too. If you're watching it, to vote for your favorites, and to make sure they actually do that, because that's what will get that person through. And if that happens to be me, then amazing. Thanks.
Well, I want to wish you the very best of luck at the Eurosong final, which isn't too far from now. It would be on the 3rd of February, of course, in the Late Show, and I do wish you the best. And thank you so much, ADGY, for giving your time today, and thanks for chatting.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.